kind of mellowing out because I think we need this before our next guests come on. Yeah, because it could go off the charts. Hey, you're listening to Good Morning LKN. Jason Sain, your guest host this morning, former state legislator. My show is on Mondays, 3 till 4 p.m. You can catch it every Monday or on the podcast, All Things Sane. Well, we got to mash up this morning, smash up the LKN. Good morning. We're here and a little All Things Sane, but bringing on some good friends of mine. At least they are, as we start this conversation, we'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll remain good friends, but good friends of mine, Larken, Egleston, and Tariq Bokhari, both former Charlotte City Councilmen, one a Democrat, one a Republican, found ways to work together when they were on Charlotte City Council, sometimes work in opposition to each other, but most of the time they found ways to find agreement. That is transferred into their professional careers. They've both left city council since then. And while they were on city council, had a podcast called R&D, Republican and Democrat, in the QC, the Queen City. But now it's R&D in the NC because you guys are going global. And welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. It's kind of a big deal.
I didn't know there was a live studio audience.
Oh yeah, well you should see them. You should see them, and they won't let me near them. There's some rules about the guest and interacting too much with the audience, so they kind of keep them at a distance. But they're all smiles, and they were just thrilled to death to know that you were coming on the show this morning. As folks are driving in from LKN into that great city, a lot of folks are heading south. Some heading north to the lake, right? But great to have you both on. And we're now working together in a different capacity. We were all elected people. Now we're has-beens, but that's okay. And you guys have joined the Southern Group where you're doing local consulting, lobbying, all kind of things. But welcome to the show. I don't know who wants to go first, but tell us about kind of your transition from public life and being a public servant to now what you're doing.
Go ahead, Larken. Go ahead, Larken. You know you want to talk first.
Now I've already missed my opportunity to do so. Thanks for having us on, Jason. Really glad to be with you. And we're back in the private sector. So we both did a stint in federal government. I also did a stint in state government. In both instances, for me, with Jeff Jackson as a member of Congress and then as our now Attorney General, but had a great opportunity with the Southern Group come up, and we started that at the beginning of this year, a company based out of Florida, about a 25-year track record and just dominate the space of government affairs, government relations in Florida. Had opened a Raleigh office that you're well aware of, Jason, and about 2 years ago, and realized that Charlotte was too big a market to not have a presence in when you're looking to dominate this sort of an industry in the Southeast. And so, as they do in many of their markets, wanted to open a bipartisan office and looked at the two of us and said, these are guys who know local government. They know government at other levels. They've worked together before. They can get along. And so far, so good. We've been off to a much faster paced start, I think, than we expected, but that's a good problem to have. And it's just something where Charlotte has had really just kind of one main group that has focused on this sort of space for companies. And given the size of our economy here, given the size of industry in Charlotte, there's just more demand than there has historically been supply. So we're trying to fill that gap. So far, based on the feedback we've gotten, there was a gap there and this was needed. And so it's been a lot of fun and enjoyed getting to work with Tariq again and enjoyed getting to work with you some as well, Jason.
Well, I'm enjoying it too, and we all got kind of connected. We knew each other from before, but you guys used to come kind of as a team on behalf of the city of Charlotte to the legislature, and it hadn't been happening before. You'd get an occasional, one or two visits a year as a legislator. But to your point, I mean, this region, Charlotte region, is so massive, and so many people here. Not having voices heard was really missed opportunity. And you guys, as public servants, said, "Hey, our region needs a voice in Raleigh," and that's you'd come talk to me. And when I was the finance chair and then appropriations chair, and we'd work on policy together. And it's great to become friends that way and get to know each other, work professionally. Now we're doing it on the other side of things, but helping people navigate. Tariq, you give a little bit about your background as well. You were on city council, then you had a stint up in D.C. in the Trump administration, and Larken has been, his work with the congressman and now attorney general, and you bring a slightly different experience, but it's all merging very well together.
Yeah, I mean, before council at all, I had a career in banking, in fintech, in technology, in startups, several different fronts there that all has proven useful in this new chapter of our lives. Like Larkin said, we were on council together. I was there for 4 terms. That's when you mentioned we would come up and work really closely with you, develop that relationship. That was a lot of fond memories, learning, I'm just a state bill and how all that stuff worked. But that's really where I think when we look at like what we're doing now and our entire thesis for the Charlotte office that we've opened, we cut our teeth on, besides our business acumen, it was how to create a legislative agenda. We were co-chairs initially, 8-9 years ago, of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee and for the city of Charlotte. And we would really kind of put a lot of thought into crafting these legislative agendas, coming up and working with you, working in DC. And I think one of the big gaps, well, again, back to your original question, I left there when Larkin was doing his, whatever he was doing, Congress and AG stuff. I was a presidential appointee to the US DOT. I was the acting administrator of the Federal Transit Administration, FTA. So got some federal experience, as well as dropped off the deep end into transportation and transit, which is also very relevant in Charlotte. But long story short, to wrap that all up, now that we're back here opening the Charlotte office, it's understanding how to craft these legislative agendas for what I really view as a greenfield market in Charlotte. There isn't, like Larkin said, a lot of lobbying institutions and consulting and government affairs. And this is a vital part of how businesses need to be operating these days. And we're starting to see people come and reach out to us, not just for, I have this problem, permit this, or I want to grow my business like that. But it's also like, how do I think, forward about this issue? And the answer is crafting legislative agendas and using it like you have a chief marketing officer or sales officer, thinking about government affairs and this space in much the same manner.
Well, you have to navigate it, and if you don't have experience, this is, as I transition from being an elected official, much like you guys have, you don't realize kind of the skill sets that you're developing while you're serving. But you guys know a lot how to navigate, not just government, but local organizations, and whether it's the city of Charlotte, or maybe it's something in Huntersville, or anywhere in the region. You guys bring a level of expertise that can be really helpful to clients who are trying to navigate that space, because they're just not used to it, right? And you know it, and you don't realize just how much you learned over those years of serving. But then when you put it into action, you get results for your clients, and it's a great thing to do. And you guys have hit the ground running. You're all over the place. You got your podcast. So feel free to promote that. But you're also making guest appearances. I know you've got another guest appearance on radio this morning. You'll be on another station. I know I've seen you on Tim Williams on Capitol tonight. Tell us about that.
That's been a lot of fun. The podcast, when we were on city council, was something we really enjoyed. It gave us a chance to sort of unpack some of these issues that you can't really explain in a short soundbite. And so we could do it in long form, and we could bring on our colleagues, and we could bring on guests. We had everybody from Laura Trump to Michael Bloomberg on the show over the course of about 118 episodes. So bringing that back in its new format's been a lot of fun. We are on, and we're headed right after this over to WBT with Beth Troutman and Bo Thompson for their morning show. Do that every Thursday from 9 to 10. Every week, usually on Wednesday and Thursday, as you said, with Tim Boyle on Spectrum on Capitol tonight. Just got to do Unspun with former Governor Pat McCrory a week or two ago, and as well as Flashpoint, a show that's come back on WCNC. So it's really been a lot of fun for us to get back out there and be able to talk about the issues we think are important for this region. Talk about what we're doing, but really just re-engage with the public in a way that we hope gives them some insight into a bit more of the nuance of some of these issues that can't always be fully unpacked.
Well, I think it's great what you guys are doing, and one longtime listener and longtime friend. But great to hear you. We got about 25 seconds. Tariq, take us out, but talk about it's R&D in the NC. You can find it on any podcasting software. What else?
RD and the NC. You get anywhere you get your podcast, you can go to YouTube, and now we got videos, better production, all that stuff. But again, I think to put an end cap on that, this isn't just about us fulfilling our ego of being on all these shows. It's a really important part that we view of the job of sharing the local regional news that matters. And when you think about the huge disruptions that are coming our way, AI disruption of, white collar jobs and screen-based jobs, data centers and the fight against China for dominance, stable coin and what's going to happen to the banking industry, whether it's Charlotte, Lake Norman or North Carolina. These are existential topics that the first step is being aware of them and part of the conversation.
Well, guys, appreciate you being on. You can catch it R&D and the NC and everywhere else they're appearing. Glad to have you on the show today on Good Morning LKN. Larken, Egleston, Tariq, Bokhari, great to have you. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks, brother.
See ya.